Garnet, get up. Baby, come on, baby girl. Come on. Let's get up. Let's get up. Ah, don't bite mama. Ah, see how she cries? You go to pick her up, Elizabeth. She gets her feelings hurt so much. She always thinks she has to have her way. Hi, whisper to me. Come on, baby. Come on. Let Granny sit down. Come on, let Granny sit down. Come on. Ow, baby. Come on now. Fine. Oh, boy. Why? Why did you get your feelings hurt? Oh, because you do. It's a Patreon thing, Tammy. Yes. Only for patrons. You ought to be in Patreon. Hi, Felicia Lewis. How are you doing? How are you, hon? How we doing? Does the TV seem too loud? My man's in there, you know. Thank you, Elizabeth T. I just had a facelift. Hi, QB. Don't I wish? Hi, Linda Gelb. I used my new wrinkle cream, and it's very special. Volume's okay so far? All right. Yeah, I just told him I was going to read for a little bit. And I thought I was still like early, but I guess I'm not. But I have the magazines here. I was just going to get them. And look, guys, I'm going to redo my throw, but look, I know I showed last night. See, I have to start over. I'm just doing it for practice. And I left. This is my very first row right here. Hi, Sherry Shirley. Good, Elizabeth. And I missed this one on the first row. Can you believe it? Oh, Tammy, you didn't have to do that. But that's really sweet of you. Thank you, Tammy. Yes, you better. You better join. She's not on right now. Don't tell me she's on right now, because I made sure she wasn't. If she goes live, please let me know. Okay. Okay. I knew because I sent her a message. I get paranoid about that because I hate how people always say stuff about it, you know. Oh, she's cutting in on trying to, you know, whatever. So yeah, I get really paranoid about it. She came and said hello? Really? Where is she? I don't see her. You playing games with me again. Oh, she is there. Coloring my hair but listening. You should have waited until the tub tonight. Mama rambling. Okay, good. I'm glad you guys saw her. I will move this. Just give me another minute or two, okay, guys? Us Hollywood people are never on time. And I want to wear my new medal from the priest. I want to put this on. I've been waiting forever. I don't have the hook thing for it, but I'm putting it on anyway. Bonnie gave you some dolls? Really? I know she was giving you some mini brands. I didn't know she gave you some dolls. That's nice. I'm going to buy a new chain. This is new, but it's just not heavy enough. Maybe it'll let me trade it in. Oh, wow. This is made in Italy, Carolyn. My other one meant the world to me, and I can't find it. The necklace broke. And I did find, I found it right when it happened. And I got my necklace repaired. And then I put the charm thing back on, the metal. And it fell off another time. The necklace broke again. And now I don't know where it is. What is... Hi, Video Reel. That's cute. The love bomb. Thank you. Okay, Elizabeth, that's fine. Yeah, just listen. Oh, gosh, now he's got the TV up more. Dave, would you mind turning it down for a minute, for a little bit? Oh, you would mind? Huh? It's not going to work, dang it. I'm so excited. Oh, well. Yeah, I have to get another one then. Look how cute this necklace is, though, with the little heart. Well, let me put this back over here. You bid 10. Oh, yeah, Felicia. I'm glad you're getting better. Hey, Shirley. Hi, any haters that are lurking. Because I know you are. You can tell who's here, too, can't you, participants? Yeah. Wow, see, I've never done this where you can actually see. 6, 7. That's okay. Maybe you just don't feel like typing. Maybe you like the stories, you just want to listen. Or maybe you hate us. That's okay. Hi, Anna. Aw, happy early birthday, Anna. Carolyn's, you go to her channel. Actually, go to her channel where it says view channel. And that will give you the, it'll give you whether you want to join membership. You can look underneath the description. It will tell you her Patreon, and you click on that. Hi, Susan, Kristen, Vintage, Irene. Let's get busy. Okay. 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 You guys, never mind. Little inside joke there. Okay. Hi, news tubers. You gonna use this? Get me with my lipstick. My balm, it's Orange Blossom Lip Balm with coconut oil. Patreon, where she will read from the tub. And I will be in the tub, as will the other Patreons. I know we're not showing our body. If you're going to show your body, you better be in a bathing suit. This is weird. My lips are so dry. I never use this because they always get much drier when I do. But this stuff's weird. But they're so dry, they got all that chapped skin. Me. No bathing suit, Elizabeth. I'm not going to be in a bathing suit either, but I'm just going to turn the camera right on my face for a minute, and then I'll shut it off so people can see that I am in the tub. Hi, news tubers. For you, honey. I know you're watching. No, you are. Oh, I know you are, girls. I know. You jealous little things, you. Nobody can be as purty as me. Don't you know that by now, ladies? I'm 66 years old. That's right. I'm still a youngin'. I am still a youngin'. And you ain't got hair like me. You ain't got lips like me. You ain't got glasses like me. What is this channel about? Hi, Chelsea. It has to be on at all times. All right. You asked for it. Uh-huh. I just want to make sure News Tubers gets their eyes full of this, honey. What you think, huh? I know you want to be me. I know you do. Honey, you can't, though. I'm sorry. Just ain't going to happen. It ain't possible. If it was, honey, I would go poof, and you could be just like me. You an old thingamajig. Y'all could look just like me. Okay? You gotta work hard at it, though. This don't happen just naturally. Okay? There's a lot of hard work goes into this, honey. Now, sit up straight or lay back, news tubers, whatever you want to do, and watch and Learn from the master. Okay, are you taking notes? Learn from me, honey. Learn. That's what I do. I aim to help. I aim to help you all you want. And look at this, ladies and gents. We got Valentine's coming up. We're going to read a little bit about love being in the air. Love is in the air, memories of real romance. News tubers, have you ever had that, honey? Ooh, it's nice. Mm-hmm. Really nice. Get you a lovely man. Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. Really nice. Yes, I got make my mascara. I bought fake eyelashes too. I'll give you some pointers. News tubers, honey, I will. I promise. Ooh, we're going to tell a bunch of stories tonight. Carolyn, look at this. Now, news tubers, observe, okay? Listen and learn. This is talent. Hi, Rosalita. Hi, Farm Wife 99. All the Ramblers here supporting me. See, news tubers, you ain't got that, do you? Ramblers support me, not you. Carolyn, look, if you can, look at the quilt. If Sharon's here, she would love that. There's Cupid's cards in here, a collection of cute Valentines for kids. Tammy. Hi, crime scene. Oh, feel better, okay? Please do. Um, okay, I'll get busy now. Hi, everybody. If anyone's watching on the replay, hi. It's what YouTube tells you to do. News tubers, when you get as many prescribers, yes, I said prescribers, as I have, YouTube sends you tips, okay? And they say, address the people that may be perhaps possibly watching on a replay. Address them. Hello, everyone in the replay. I hope you enjoyed the stories that we have here this evening. Valentine's is coming up. Hopefully, you have someone that loves you and that you can give a card to, get some chocolate from, give flowers to, something, okay? Even if it's a neighbor, someone. Hi, Earthbound. Yeah, Dave was too. Here's a memorable 8x10 photo that someone sent in. It says, banking was apparently in the blood of the Corey family of St. Francisville, Illinois. St. Francis? Okay, not St. Never mind. I was thinking it was Francisville, Indiana, by our cottage, because we own 2 homes, news tubers. Yes, we do. I have a man that was able to buy 2 homes, honey. I don't know why I'm doing this, but it's fun. To judge by this 1929 photo shared by George Laughlin from New Johnsonville, Tennessee. The scene shows the People's National Bank, a result of the merger of the National Bank and the People's Bank in town. George explains that before working in the bank, his grandfather was a school teacher who'd had Matthew as a pupil. When Matthew misbehaved one day, George confined him to the cloakroom. Only to have to return in the evening when he realized he hadn't released his brother. My mother's desk was by a window on Main Street, George adds, and I'd often tell her through the window that I was going to the Wabash River for a swim. I wonder if that's his mother back there. Oh, yeah, I guess it is. The man on the far left is my grandfather, George, cashier of the bank. Next is Vera Laughlin, my mother, and the second of George's 5 daughters, who was a bookkeeper and secretary there. Look at this old bank, guys. 1929. Getting a lot of new patrons, Carolyn, looks like, because they want to get in there for tub time. Don't blame them, because they're going to be missing out. V-mail, does anyone remember? That's this section, okay? V-mail was speedy delivery. During World War II, my brother, Clarence LaPierre, served on the U.S. Army hospital ship Seminole, which picked up wounded soldiers as far east as Italy and brought them back to the States. I need to find my bookmark. I'll just use this. The method used by my family to correspond with him was called V-mail, above, commonly spelled V-mail. I'll show you the cards in a second. V stood for victory, and the 3 dots and dash were Morse code for the letter V, period. Back home, you could get V-mail forms at the post office and at 5 and dime stores. After a censor cleared the letter, it was microfilmed or photographed onto 16 millimeter black and white camera film. The reel of V-mail film then went to a processing center near the addressee, where a copy was printed onto a piece of photographic paper about 5 by 4 inches. This facsimile letter was put into an envelope and then delivered. V-mail saved thousands of tons of shipping space for war materials. According to the National Postal Museum, the 37 mail bags required to carry 150,000 one-page letters could be replaced by a single mail stack. Linda Gelb, because you have an iPad, it's different. You have to look for, Tammy, cool. Tammy, do you have an Apple product? Because there's a special link, Linda Gelb. Patreon app, there you go. Vintage Gals helping you, Linda. Go to the Patreon app. V-mail saved thousands of tons of shipping space for war materials. According to the National Postal Museum, the 37 mail bags, I already read that. The weight of that same amount of mail was reduced dramatically from 2,575 pounds to a mere 45. That's crazy. Okay, Tammy. Okay, Sherry. The soldiers also got their letters from home much faster. The system, which reportedly processed 1.5 billion letters, was used between June 1942 and November 1945. And here's some samples of what they looked like. Rolling your walls clean. I recall a product, I believe it was called Simply Wallpaper Cleaner, used in the World War II era. After about 1950, I don't remember seeing or hearing about it anymore. The doughy substance came in a metal can, and prying the lid off released the distinctive smell. Not unpleasant, but rather like paint. You scooped out a pale green wad and rolled it into a ball. Then you rubbed and rolled it on the soiled portions of your wallpaper. The wad of dough turned gray then, almost black, as it removed the dirt from the wallpaper. Many homes were still being heated with coal, so soiled walls were a problem. When the dough had absorbed all the dirt it could, you discarded it. It did make the walls look cleaner and brighter. My fondest memories of the process were the lingering fresh aroma and the feeling that the room looked almost newly repapered. The idea was to prolong the life of the wallpaper when money was tight. There was a war on, and the motto was, eat it up and wear it out. Make it do or do without. From Diana Schutz, Catlin, Illinois. Playing the roll-monica. Good vintage gal. Remember the roll-monica? No. Maybe News Tubers does. I hear they're kind of old. But probably over in Australia they don't have that. You played it by blowing into the mouthpiece while turning the lower handle. The music rolls had holes that were designed to produce tunes on the same principle as a player piano. Well, it was a product. It was kind of doughy. It wasn't regular dough. It was a cleaning product for wallpaper. My roll-monica set is pictured above, with the original box, 6 song rolls on spools, an extra spool and mouthpiece inset right. The Roll-monica Music Company of Baltimore painted the device around 1925. When I was 7 years old, in 1930, I was scheduled to play this roll-monica for the golden anniversary of my grandparents, Mr. and Mrs. George Lutz. I was the youngest performing grandchild and the very last to play. Unfortunately, I got stage fright and couldn't do it. After I threw a tantrum, kicking and crying, I was told I couldn't have cake or ice cream, but Aunt Louise got me some anyway. From Jack Reinhardt, San Diego, California. Getting the dry off my. Hi, Sweet Pea. A World War II magic eraser. Very close. Yeah, I hope. Put a bathing suit and put him in the tub with you. News tubers, watch and learn. You don't have to do cartoons. You can do real shows. Back in the day, shoe shines were a regular occurrence. Suits, neckties, and business shoes were the daily costume for most men. Today, with more casual dress codes, shoe shine stands have declined. And some of the operators could really snap that shine red. The Fuller Brush Man. That's okay, Sweet Pea. I'm just being silly. He went door to door selling brooms, brushes, and a variety of other household items. Suburbia. After World War II, new homes were built by leaps and bounds, replacing old farms. Flamingo lawn decorations became a popular sight in suburbia. Hula hoops. In 1958, the Wham-O company introduced the hula hoop to America. The idea originated in Australia, where school kids used bamboo hoops in gym class for exercise. NewsTubers Live was put in the corner because she wouldn't do the hula hoop with everyone else. Thingamajig yelled, "Come here, NewsTubers, try the hula hoop." But NewsTuber shook her head and had to remain in the corner. Oh, that's too bad. How about this? I ate burgers at the original McDonald's. Look at that. The original one. Darn it, what you gotta play with that for? Make noise, baby. Look at that. And this magazine, by the way, guys, is 11 years old, in case you're wondering why some of the ages don't match up. Hi, Mama Ames. You're not coming in the tub. This is by Jim Vance from Tustin, California. Oh, and here's a picture of the author in 1959. I will find out. To find out what year it is. I grew up in San Bernardino, California, the home of the original McDonald's restaurant that gave rise to a fast food empire now stretching around the world. In my teen years, it meant 15-cent hamburgers, bags bursting with French fries, and tax-free carryout. Hi, Mom. Oh, hi, Mom. Not long after I was born, in 1943, my parents would cruise E Street with my sister and me in the back seat. The McDonald's at 14th and E Streets was a frequent stop for hamburgers. This McDonald's opened in 1940 as a barbecue restaurant owned by the McDonald brothers, Dick and Mac. Ray Kroc came along much later and bought out the brothers, taking the business to new heights. In addition to the 15-cent hamburgers, they had 10-cent fries and sodas and 25-cent milkshakes. That was the extent of the menu, similar to today's In-N-Out Burger. It was not a true drive-in with car hop service by the time I was a teen. You would park your car on the lot, if you could find a place, or down the street, and then go to one of the walk-up windows to order below. When I got my first car in 1959, McDonald's was the place to cruise. The restaurant operators didn't want you to hang out because they were in the business of selling hamburgers, not serving as a teenage hangout, but it was oh so fun to meet with friends there. I had a friend, Billy, who worked there. Whenever Billy took my order, I could always expect to see a bag with the right number of hamburgers and bags of fries, but hidden under the order, the whole bottom of the bag would be full of loose fries. In those days, we paid 2% tax for food eaten on the premises. But if you took the food with you, it was untaxed, like grocery items. That eventually changed. Another change came in 1961 when our McDonald's took on the name Big M. We kids didn't know at the time that Ray Kroc had bought out the McDonald's restaurants. In the deal, the brothers kept their ownership of our McDonald's in San Bernardino, but there were ill feelings about Kroc not getting the original restaurant. Shortly after that, the Big M sign appeared and a McDonald's opened one block north, even closer to San Bernardino High School than the original. The purpose, of course, was to put the Big M out of business. And in 1970, that happened. The original McDonald's site still has the 15-cent hamburger sign out front, although the building itself is long gone. On the site now are the museum and corporate headquarters for Juan Polo chicken restaurants. The museum, which includes McDonald's historical information, is a fun stop for those traveling through the area. The younger docents I don't know what that is, at the museum are very knowledgeable about McDonald's history, but they couldn't possibly know about all the fun we have there. Hi, LMNW50. Hi, Jackie Burns. Hi, Linda Vischer. All the Ramblers coming over to ride on the scooters for a little bit. Ride those scooters around. Did you get a good look at the restaurant? How you just walked up to the window? He was a jerk. Hi, Lucy J. There's Mama Ames riding on the scooter. Yeah, there's a bunch of little trivia right here under it about McDonald's. Wow, 1962. The first McDonald's with seating opens in Denver. Hi, Larky. Hi, Baby Beth. There's a couple of movies made about it, too. Kind of like one's kind of like a comedy drama type thing. And what's his name's in it? From Better Call Saul? Bob Odenkirk or whatever his name is. It's a pretty good movie. And Tammy, are you still here? I remember you telling us this is your distant relative. To know Red Skelton was to love him. This is the feature. Hi, Bridget. Brushes with Celebrities. Yeah. Oh, QB, I remember that. It's horrible. It still hasn't been solved either. I don't think. There was a couple of them, maybe. Here's a picture of Red Skelton. And yes, Tammy McD is related to him. I forget exactly how, but he is a relative. I just loved him. As a kid, he made me laugh so much. Yeah, Michael Keaton, he's good too. These are just people from when I was a kid, though, that I really loved that would make me laugh. In my teen years, I listened faithfully to Red Skelton's radio programs and loved his little boy segments with the tagline, I doed it. Well, when World War II was ending in the summer of 45, Leo Sweeney, my GI fiance, and Red Skelton were together at a hospital camp near Blackstone, Virginia. This is by Jean Allen Brown. Tacoma, Washington, Tammy. Oh, wait, that wouldn't make any difference, though. She's not related to him. Leo and I were married on July 13th, 1945, and after our honeymoon, Leo had to report back to camp. I went with him, and we took a room at the Blackstone Hotel. The hotel owner was eager for me to meet Red, so he took me to camp where we had picked up Leo. As we drove around a bit, Red ran up to the car, hopped on the running board, greeted us, and then immediately won me over by saying, "Hey, Sweeney, how'd you manage to win such a sweetheart?" Once I was out at camp when Red was in the hospital. I was sitting on his bed visiting, and across from me on the wall was a pencil sketch he had done of a hospital urinal with a bouquet of flowers in it. I laughed about it and now wish I'd asked for it. At an event for officers, one of the soldiers came to the table and asked me to dance. I was no sooner back to the table when another GI asked for a dance. It finally dawned on me that these boys thought I was Red's wife and wanted to go home and talk about dancing with Red Skelton's wife. Red told me, "Hey, don't tell them any different. Go ahead, dance and give them a thrill." That night, Red handed me a chain with a St. Christopher medal. I could not accept it, but Leo said he would give me Red's dog tag, as they had switched tags earlier. The tag now hangs beside an autographed photo of Red, on which he wrote the following message: "To Jean, my dear friend, who married my best friend. Well, all is fair in love and Blackstone. Love, Red Skelton." One day, Red and I were talking in the hotel lobby, and he said he was going into the bar. Halfway across, he did one of his famous pratfalls, picked himself up, and walked away, his shoulders shaking with laughter. I was in shock. Red Skelton had done a pratfall just for me. I once asked him how he found time for all that he did. His answer has stayed with me forever. "Jean, everyone has time to do what he wants to do. I'm so sorry there was only one Red Skelton. The world could use many more like him." Well, this is 11 years ago this was written. There's some, I'm sure, that are alive, you know. I loved him. Okay, this is Boxed In by the Champ. In 1959, world champion boxer Jack Dempsey attended a boxing commission conference at a restaurant where I worked in Portland, Oregon. Mr. Dempsey was apparently torn by the decision of which of the 15 or so boxing commission members to include in a picture, so he chose me instead. His trainer is the smiling man in the background. The reason we're smiling so broadly is that it took the photographers 3 tries to get his flashbulb to work. Mr. Dempsey said, "I'm in no hurry. Take your time." And here we go right here. Yeah, this right here. And you can see his trainer in the back. Was he Cinderella Man? No. I don't think so. Oh, was he? Oh, I don't know. I don't think so. Pennywise Corrigan. Ooh, Pennywise. Remember Douglas Corrigan? When the U.S. government refused to authorize his plan to fly from New York to Ireland, he took it upon himself to make the 1938 flight, regardless of the consequences. His only excuse was that he was lost and befuddled and flew by the wrong end of his compass needle, for which the press dubbed him Wrong Way Corrigan. That was a good movie, Cinderella Man. Upon his return from Ireland, he was pronounced a hero by New York's governor and given a lavish welcome with a ticker tape parade down Broadway. Few knew of his life after his infamous flight to Ireland, but I became his friend and fellow pilot in 1943 when he joined the 6th Ferrying Group as a civilian pilot for the Army Air Forces. He was a nice enough fellow, but extremely frugal. On flights with me and other pilots, he would sleep in our parked plane rather than join us in comfort at a hotel. He would go without a meal and chew gum instead. Once, when he opened a pack of gum, I asked him if I might have a piece, and he replied, "Yes, but you'll have to give me a penny first." From Edward Wise, Fort Walton Beach, Florida. James Braddock, okay. Did I say hi, Robin? Trying not to cough. I know I have it. Let me find a vitamin C tablet. Not tablet, but, it's like a cough drop. I know I had one right here. I know yes, it is. It's right here. I knew it. Dave, you're being so good, so quiet. When it's quiet, they don't know they wonder where you're at. They're like, is it Dave home? Let's see, it's been 47 minutes. Did News Tuber say hi yet? Yeah, he's in the closet. I have him tied up. This episode brought to you by Vitamin C Drops. Keep yourself safe and healthy this winter, and extra protection against the COVID virus. Get your Vitamin C Drops today. I believe they're from Halls, maybe. I'm not sure. Maybe not. No, I'm just teasing Mama Ames. Because I think I know what they're doing. Just in my little brain, I think I know. They're kind of giving themselves away, trying to be somebody else, but Here's another one, Brighter in Her Care. Thank you, Mama Ames. It's from, Caroline Connor. She colored it. Isn't she great? I just love her. In 1945, I was working as a nurse at what is now Memorial Sloan Kettering Cancer Center, then known as Memorial Hospital for Cancer and Allied Diseases. Damon Runyon was one of my patients for 3 weeks while he received treatment for throat cancer and had a tracheotomy. It'd be scary in 1945 to have that. I know, QB, it is too quiet, but he's got it going. He was unable to speak, so I did all the talking, and he responded by writing notes. He was 65 years old at that time and still writing his column in the hospital on his typewriter. I had just come down from Gloversville, New York, after 3 years at nursing school and had never had time to read any of the papers that carried his column. I didn't realize who he was until I saw a book with his name on it on his windowsill. I exclaimed, "Oh, you're a writer." He just shook his head and smiled. When he was being discharged, he gave me the book on the windowsill and autographed it for me. He so affected me that I wrote a poem about the experience. Damon Runyon died in September 1946, which was my wedding month. Years ago, I saw an article by Walter Winchell in Reader's Digest about Mr. Runyon, Mr. Winchell's good friend. I wrote to Mr. Winchell and sent him a photo of Mr. Runyon and myself. He wrote back and thanked me for remembering. From Sally Avery, Northville, New York. Here is my favorite radio memory. Oh, this is that magazine too, where they always give you the little sayings on the sides. I always forget about them. Little Hunter was her baby. That's the title. My mother, Francel Hudson Cooper, wrote, directed, and produced children's programs that aired each Saturday morning in Colorado Springs in 1949 and 50. One of the programs was quite popular and became a weekly series called Little Hunter. It was about a young Native American boy who sat beside his wise grandfather near the fire and heard stories of the past. Through their imaginations, listeners were taken back to another time and place in history. My sister Maureen, brother Bob, and I would sometimes go to CBS radio affiliate KVOR with our mother. If an extra was ever needed, Maureen and Bob were always ready to get their minute of fame. I was shy and happy just to observe. The Voorhees Shoe Company sponsored the program. In a letter to KVOR, the manager at Voorhees wrote, "Francel Cooper, I think, is doing an outstanding job with her writing. Any sponsor can be proud of this type of program." In the 1949 picture above, with kids from a local grade school, my mother is standing third from the left. And I believe the man holding the boy is Eddie Jones. The woman sitting second from the left is Lee White from Ramona Williams, Woodland Park, Colorado. Hi, Carol Lucy. I'll show these pictures later of people going on vacation. I'm going to read a couple of stories from people. Do you, Robin? You're kidding, right? I know you got to be kidding. Pets from our past. Oh my gosh. This looks like Shorty. I'm not even joking. Of course, the ears look a little bit too long. Is this one a mule, sort of? Yes, it's a mule. Shorty was a horse. That's why the ears are long. Hi, sour milk and cookies. Carolyn, how's your hair coming? Slightly tipsy. Slightly tipsy. I should get me out my whiskey. So news tubers will have something exciting to report on. News tubers go like this. Pinch your cheeks. Get a little bit of red, okay? Get a little red going. Ooh, Garnet scratched me when I was going to sit down here, remember? She was in my chair. News tubers, smile. Where is Mama rambling? She laughed. Shorty was a white horse, yes. Shorty was a white horse. I heard him referred to once as a pony. No, he was a horse. Somebody said, oh, he was a big pony. He was a horse. He wasn't no pony. Oh, really, Shirley Alice? Cool. Mule was stubborn indeed. I was born in 1921 on a farm near Oberlin, Kansas, and Pete was an unpredictable, lovable, and exasperating white mule that lived with us. At the age of 6, I would ride Pete unattended around the farm. Dad would bridle him, and then I was on my own. Mounting him was a challenge. To prove my independence, after Dad left for work in the field, I'd lead Pete along a rack on the side of the shed, climb the rack, and mount up. One day, I rode out to the field a mile away where Dad was racking cane hay. I was feeling very grown up, bouncing along the way, when Pete came to a sudden halt to satisfy his appetite for the freshly fallen hay. Yelling, "Giddy up!" and kicking Pete in the ribs didn't have any effect, but suddenly he took off at a dead run. It was the wildest ride I've ever had. We stopped less than 6 feet from Dad, and by then I had bounced up on Pete's neck, holding on to his mane for dear life. Oh, I remember doing that. I forgot about that. You end up on their neck. It was as if Pete were saying to Dad, "Here's your little brat." Dad gently lifted me back in position. He told me I had had enough riding for a while and should go back home and put the mule in the barn. Later, Pete was sold to a neighbor 4 miles away from us. One day, we looked in our corral and there stood Pete. Dad called the neighbor, who came and got him. In a week's time, the mule got away again and returned to our place. The men talked it over and decided to trade back. It remained a mystery how Pete got out of the neighbor's corral. He never saw Pete leave, and we never saw him return, apparently. Pete traveled at night. Apparently Pete traveled at night. We assume he lifted the wooden latch on our corral gate, pushed it forward, and walked in, or else he jumped the fence. Pete lived out his natural life happily in the pasture and the barn of the people he loved most. From Viola Vanderweg, Norton, Kansas. My friend the chicken. My parents kept several chickens for eggs and some for the skillet to help feed our family near Denver, writes William Sheets of Franklin, Nebraska. I was next to the youngest of 7 children, and this 1945 photo shows me at age 5 with the chicken I'd selected to be my pet. I carried her from one place to another when she wasn't busy laying eggs. This particular chicken became the family's dinner at some point, so I just made friends with another one. Here it is. The Shorty Tattoo. I wouldn't mind. Oh, I wouldn't mind a bit. News chickens. That's a good name. Oh, I've kept it all these years. That's this article, this section, whatever you want to call it. Oh, here's a thought to remember. If I can remember to read more of these. A thought to remember. Doing your best at this moment puts you in the best place for the next moment. I didn't name him Shorty. He came with that name. This playhouse above was built for me in 1930 when I was 4 years old. My brother Fred also pictured, and I enjoyed many fun times in this little house with other children in the village of Lyons, Ohio, population 600. Each spring, we washed the windows, got the cobwebs out of the corners, and hung the rug on the clothesline. In 1956, my husband Elvin and I had our 3rd child, and the playhouse was moved to our farm home 3 miles east of Lyons. I later gave the house to my neighbors, Robert and Kitty Donahue, who had 5 girls. After my daughter Rindy and her husband had their 3rd child in 1992, I asked the Donahues if I could move the house back to its original location on East Morency Street, where Rindy and her family were living. In 2005, my son-in-law said, "Grandma, I'm going to strike a match to the 1930 playhouse. It has seen its day and it's got to go." My eyes opened wide, my hair stood on end, and my arms were flying as I said, "No, no, no. I'm moving it back to my residence on Cleveland Avenue in Lyons." It withstood the move, and I am again the proud owner of this little house of mine. From Elizabeth Ann Rowland, Lyons, Ohio. Oh, I see. Wow. They fixed it up too. A new roof on it, a flower box. Looks like siding. Now they got some siding on there. Final siding. Here, right there, when she was a little kid with her brother. Hi, Captain Lee. There she is, all grown up. All grown up, and she got the house there. Snowman at Wright was one I bought for my mom for Christmas of 1957 after I got my first job out of high school. 2 batteries power the blinking eyes, the moving broom, and the blower at the top of the hat that keeps the ball in the air. Oh, how cute. I still turn it on every Christmas, although I have to tap it to make it work every year. From Jerry Docal, Cincinnati, Ohio. It is cute. Look at it. Billy Jones, Billy Jones. How are you, Billy Jones? Oh, and here we go. Look at this cabinet. Mama's cupboard isn't bare. Memories of fragrances and goodies are tucked in cabinet's corners. Anna Carlson, author's Mama. Here's the author's mom, Mama. Here's the cabinet. Look at the clock on top. Carolyn, where are you? Mama Ramblings. Still coloring your hair? You can't be still coloring it. It's impossible. My first memories of Mama's cupboard linger still. I see it sitting in the corner of the summer kitchen, plain, simple, and painted a pale green. Davida, are you here? I know you love these stories. I know I love that clock too, Lucy J. Did you color it purple? The smell of spices wafted out when the door was opened. At age 6, I never thought that 70 years later, it would stand in a place of honor in my living room. On one side of the cupboard hung a calendar in a tin matchbox. On top of it stood containers of flour and sugar. The inside was unpainted, and the raw wood became infused with the fragrance of the spices. Mama made the best gingerbread cookies. There were half-gallon tin pails of molasses and Karo corn syrup that served other purposes when empty. On the top shelf lay a 1930s modern Priscilla cookbook and Mama's home remedies next to an old doctor book. Mama filled the cupboard. Bless you. Please don't sneeze 100 times. What's wrong, Irene? Is it making you sad? Mama filled the cupboard with all the baking supplies a 1930s housewife needed. When she baked, the doors stood open, and I could find a little goodie hidden in a corner. My grandfather built our log house and its attached summer kitchen in the late 1870s. The kitchen had a cement floor and high arched roof, keeping it quite cool in summertime. When fall arrived, the cupboard and the kitchen range returned to the main house. As spring warmed the air, they went back to the summer kitchen, and Mama sometimes applied a new coat of paint to the cupboard, perhaps yellow or a bright green. In the summer of 1940, our family moved into a new house with a very small kitchen. Mama's cupboard received another coat of paint, and the bright blue cupboard in the small kitchen didn't appeal to a 10-year-old. I would have liked a more modern look. Built-in wall cupboards with a counter and sink underneath. But Mama explained to me how Papa had built the cupboard for her in 1931, the first year they were married. She loved that cupboard. We can paint it again. You can pick the color, Mama said to me. It received a coat of white paint the following year. The 1950s arrived, and Mama's cupboard became Grandma's cupboard. Little hands again reached high to turn the latch and find a cookie or a piece of candy. As Mama's grandchildren grew, they inspected the old cupboard on each visit. They watched as Grandma applied the last coat of paint. Mama was growing old, and so was her beloved cupboard. Let me get a drink. Hi, Frida Schnell. I'm so sorry, Vintage Gal. I say roof. Gonna get the roof, the roof. We're gonna get the roof. Yeah, I say roof. When Mama was gone, the cupboard moved to the basement. There it stood with its back to a damp cement wall, and the bottom drawer drawing moisture from the wet floor. It served as storage. No new coats of paint. The smell of spices faded. One day in the early 1980s, while visiting my old home, I was searching for a can of paint in the basement. The tired old cupboard caught my eye. I looked at it as Mama must have, and now I could understand her attachment to it. Even with its musty smell and many scars, it was still Mama's cupboard. We brought it to our shop, removed and polished the brass plated hinges and latches, and scraped away all the layers of paint. Sanding brought up a light golden color, but many scars remained in the tongue and groove fur boards that once served as flooring. We applied pecan stain and a coat of sealer and replaced the hinges, the lashes, and the musty back. One bottom drawer remained, but the second drawer could not be mended. Mama would say, "It looks just like when Papa built it, but where is the second drawer?" If she could be with us, she'd sit in her old oak rocker next to her beloved cupboard in the living room. We'd tell her that it's now great great grandma's cupboard, and we'd have coffee and ginger cookies. Oh, you're welcome, Vintage. I need more water. News tubers, stay hydrated, okay? That you might be dehydrated, and that might be why you're, kind of cranky at me. Make sure you drink plenty of water every day, okay? And spread the love, spread the cheer, honey. Oh, wow. An animated personality. Her dad breathed life into Popeye, Fat Albert, and many other characters. Look at his picture. Look at that. And here he is, her father in a drawing class in 1946. Here's more people in that same class. And then here he is up here. He did Mr. Magoo. I loved Mr. Magoo. I spent part of my childhood with Mr. Magoo. In my late teens, I followed the adventures of Popeye the Sailor Man and Alvin and the Chipmunks. In my 20s, I spent time with the Lone Ranger, Batman, Superman, and the Justice League of America. Unlike most people, though, I was not just reading comic books or watching television. I saw those characters created in my own house. My dad, Edgar Friedman, was a cartoonist who animated those characters and many others for movies and far more than 100 TV shows for 56 years. Yes, Jackie. I always tell Dave he's driving like Mr. Magoo. Remember, he was always driving up on all those buildings, the huge skyscrapers, and he never crashed. Dad was born in 1912 to poor Hungarian immigrants and always spoke to his father in Hungarian, so kids couldn't eavesdrop. He was accepted into the Juilliard School, but could not attend because the tuition was too high. He also had a coveted scholarship to the University of Southern California, but had to give it up to support his mother and two younger sisters and his father, who had a fractured hip and could not make his bakery deliveries. Nothing, however, could stop Dad from pursuing a career in art because he was one of those born with a pencil in his hand. He took classes and became accomplished in fine art and commercial art. Whenever we were in a restaurant, he drew cartoons on his napkin. During the Great Depression, he painted neckties for a living, including one blue tie with a horse on it above, and I still cherish. Later in the 1930s, he animated Flip the Frog and the original Fleischer Brothers Popeye. He later worked at Screen Gems, Disney, UPA, and Filmation Studios. Over the years, he worked his way up from assistant animator at various studios to become a director for Filmation in his 60s. While I was growing up in the 1950s, Dad animated Mr. Magoo for a series of short films. He enjoyed working with Jim Backus, who provided the character's voice. I have fond memories of frequent trips to UPA Studios in Toluca Lake, California, to preview the latest Mr. Magoo cartoon. On these visits, I met Mr. Backus, who was always very nice to me. In 1950, Dad worked on Gerald McBoing, which claimed an Academy Award for Best Animated Short Subject. His Madeline from UPA earned a 1952 Academy nomination. Academy Awards also went to two Mr. Magoo shorts, When Magoo Flew in 1954 and Magoo's Puddle Jumper in 1956. Later, Dad worked on the Lone Ranger cartoons, The Alvin Show, and the animated Batman Superman Hour, among many other shows. He worked on Fat Albert and the Cosby Kids when it debuted in 1972 and throughout its 12-year run on TV. He always seemed happiest working with Bill Cosby. Remember, this is an 11-year-old magazine. Dad once let my 4-year-old son wear his Fat Albert t-shirt, which came down to his ankles. My son, now 33, still has that shirt, although it barely comes down to his rib cage now because of many washings. It's probably burnt that shirt by now too, don't you think? Yep. Thurston Howell III. Finally, in the 1980s, Dad directed such shows as He-Man and the Masters of the Universe and She-Ra, Princess of Power. She-Ra, that's what my girls called me when they were little, and I stood up for them against a whole bunch of bullies, news tubers, because I wasn't afraid. This is really sad if you think about it. Mom Ames, are you here? I'm just thinking, this is all about cartoonists, animation, and that's what they do. And they can't even talk about it, They They can't brag about it. Even if I don't think it's them doing it anyway. But they may, they may want to be able to brag about it and blah, 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 blah. They can't. I know the old cartoons were great. You can't brag about your cartoons and who makes them or nothing. I am incorrigible sometimes. Just ignore me. He drew hundreds of characters in his career, but always said his favorites were Mr. Magoo, Mama Ames, were Mr. Magoo and Fat Albert. My father worked until age 76 as a director for Filmation, which was his favorite studio. In 1975, he took my husband and me on a tour of the studio, explaining the arduous work involved in 2D animation. There were artists in each room busily drawing or inking a current project under a deadline. Over the years, there were times when animation work was hard to find. My father, though, never sat still. He made the rounds of studios and worked at home as a freelancer on television commercials, including The White Knight for Ajax. Remember that? That horse? The guy would come riding in on that white horse, dressed up as that knight. Somebody was just talking about it. You joined Linda Gelb? Very cool. Just so you can get there in the tub with us. Now, come on, we ain't doing nothing funny. We're just there to read. Carolyn's going to read to us. And we're going to soak in our bubbles. He did, Jackie Burns. Boy, didn't he? Boy, that was a letdown. Horrible. Shocking. Oh, I loved Gumby. I love when, what's his name, played him on Saturday Night Live. Eddie Murphy. I'm Gumby, damn it. I'm Gumby, damn it. He frequently worked at home on the weekends. As a child, I never fully realized the deadline pressure he was under every day. To get away from us noisy kids for a while, he worked in the garage on his homemade animation desk. I would bring him hot black coffee, but I didn't stay in the garage because I was afraid of the black widow spiders nearby. Dad would come in from the garage and flip through his stack of papers to show us character movement. It was amazing to see how many papers it took for a simple action. After he retired in 1989, he worked on a book of cartoons about outhouses. He seemed to be always drawing until his death in 2005. Today, my daughter has a degree in computer animation and works at his old desk. The only time I ever saw my father cry was at her graduation ceremonies when she won Best Portfolio at both associate and baccalaureate levels. It's good to see the family tradition stay alive. By Diana Friedman Woodruff, Phoenix, Arizona. Ed's favorite characters, Mr. Magoo. Right, Mama Ames? Yes. Buckwheat. Yes, I love that too. Yes. I bought wheat. You could have understand what he was saying. That was funny. Mr. Magoo was introduced on September 8th, 1949 in a short called Ragtime Bear. The man with the bad eyesight appeared in a series of movie shorts, 4 of which were nominated for Academy Awards. Okay, we already read that. Mr. Magoo then moved to television for a long-running series in the 50s and had a starring role in 1962's Mr. Magoo Christmas Carol, the first animated TV Christmas show. Right. Loved Eddie Murphy playing, yes, and Mr. Rogers, yes. That one was so funny back then. Fat Albert, from Bill Cosby's comic routines of his Philadelphia childhood, this stout fellow first appeared in the TV special Hey, 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 It's Fat Albert on November 12, 1969. Jazz great Herbie Hancock recorded the soundtrack for the show. Cosby wanted to put Fat Albert into a series, but the concept was rejected by NBC and ABC because of its overlying message of education. Fat Albert and the Cosby Kids later appeared on CBS on September 9th, 1972, and ran for 12 years. Cosby himself worked closely with the production and taped live segments that began and ended each episode. That's just so tainted. Here's postcards, guys. Oh, how cute. And I love these old Valentines. Look. You're once, twice, fee times a me. Oh my God. Look at, there's 1907, 1945. Yeah, these last three, I guess, are 1945. Look and see, I've been wanting these so freaking bad. I feel like I could draw them, but I know I can't, you know? Aren't they adorable, though? Now I'm just picturing that. Bouffant Beauties. We asked our readers, our Facebook friends, to share uplifting memories and hair-raising tales from the days of teasing and spraying. Here are their confessions. Some of these pictures, oh my gosh. First I'll show the pictures and then I'll read them. Wait, let's see. Look how happy this lady looks. News tubers. We got a picture of ya. I found your picture. You should smile. You wouldn't be bad looking. You're not a bad looking lady. Why are you so grumpy? Don't be that way. Right. Girl, come on now. I'm going to cut this out and hang it up back here. And you send me one of you smiling, okay? When you get to that point. I had heard my sister's friend didn't wash her hair for weeks, and her hair was so high. Well, I was about 5 years old and sitting on the balcony blowing bubbles when the friend came to the door and knocked. I decided she must wash her hair, so I poured the bubbles down on her head. She looked up at the very last minute. Big oops. My mother would have liked to kill me. My sister and her friend, too. From Virginia Elizabeth Farmer. I used to tease my hair after it had dried on the big old soup can size rollers. Linda Wiley Masters. We could always tell when it was Friday in our small town. The women had beehive hairdos piled high, ready to go to the halls for the dances and parties. Their hair may have been a bit flatter by church, but still presentable with a decorative bow. From Judith Nevin Emmers. Is that a beehive on your head or a hairdo? Joked Patricia McCullough, who posted this photo on our Facebook page. This is my mother, right, and me, obviously, on Mother's Day before church. Wearing corsages was a tradition then back in the South. I have just one question. Why? Why? Oh my, what we didn't do to make ourselves beautiful. LOL from Flo Griffith Mortellaro. Baby, you already ate, honey, twice. I had a suitcase filled with different sized rollers and a pink teasing comb with tiny teeth. I used Dippity Doo and Aquanet. I always covered the rats successfully, unlike a girl in my junior high. Her hair looked great from the front, but the back of it was one big rat. From Linda Marriott Davenport. I'm surprised I'm even alive after inhaling all that hairspray. I spent so much time back combing and spraying. I even took a ratting comb and hairspray to work with me. The higher the hair, the better. Think Marge Simpson. A hurricane couldn't move my hair when I was finished spraying, but I had a large scarf to cover it on the windy days. From Martha Sue. Oh, yes, we all used rave hairspray and ratted our hair, trying to reach new heights. I didn't see my school chums for several years, and when we finally got together, I was surprised at how short they seemed. From Cherry Honeycutt. I remember my mom wrapping her beehive in toilet paper before bed. She also taped her bangs down with a pink tape made for this. Wonder what my dad thought each night. LOL. From Alicia Halada. Where is our Alicia Biso? Is she working super hard? I hated those hairdos. They were such a nuisance when a girl put her head on your shoulder. From Stephen Gray. My sister would fix the hairdo and then not wash it for a week. I remember wondering if she was growing critters in there. From Lana Lancaster Mobs. I don't remember any women who washed their hair more than once a week back in the 1960s. We thought it stripped the hair of oil. We also brushed it 100 strokes at night before bed. Washing hair was such an ordeal. Betty Davis told her fella in one of her movies, I'd love to kiss you, but I just washed my hair. It was also a handy excuse for not going out with someone. I have to stay home and wash my hair. Did boys really buy that line? From Kathy Hinchy Purdy. Yeah, it hasn't been funny in years, I didn't think. I can't help it. I can't help it. Here's my favorite old time poem. Keep love in your life, my friend, if you would have perfect joy. Keep love, never let her depart, for who would his life destroy? For life's no longer than love, my friend. When love is no more, 'tis the journey's end, and regret and fear shall your way attend. Keep love in your life, my friend. Keep love in your life always. It says always, not always. You guys make me laugh too. Keep love in your life always. I guess that's a word, right? Always. Though tempted to bid her go, keep love the bride of your heart, if you would a true life know. For life's no longer than love, I say. With the end of love comes the close of day, and the chill of death mid the shadows gray. Keep love in your life always. Thomas Curtis Clark. A ruler in her hand. Hey, Kevin, here's a postcard from 1910. If this old bird should have a chance to take from you a kiss or two and bring them back to me, now say, would that be Robin, you, from J.O. Young, Napa, Idaho? I guess they sent this in with that Valentine from 1910. Motoring memories. Name that car. Pictures from the past. Now, if Carolyn goes live, let me know, guys, please. I don't think she is, though, till later. Yeah, they are on the railroad tracks. That's a company car. The speeder was a converted railroad hand car used by my great grandfather, William Wallace Taylor, to get to Pennsylvania coal mines to set up power plants, writes Jim Taylor of Lordstown, Ohio. He also used it to take his family down the mountain and into town. The 1909 photo shows his wife Margaret holding my grandfather William, who became a photographer and colorized this print. Grandpa's big sister, far left, was named after her mother. And this one on the porch, the City Hotel, inviting porch of this Dow City, Iowa hotel made a nice gathering spot. The 1904 photo from Shirley Sterrett beach of Navarre, Florida, Shows her dad, Walter, on the horse. Standing nearby is his father, Clark Steeritt, the hotel's owner. Looks just like a little house. Room enough for kin. This beautiful 18-room house, farmhouse in Greendale, Wisconsin, belonged to my great-grandparents, notes Beverly Biba of nearby Greenfield. My mother, Hilda Bolt, and her sister and parents lived there for 3 years while building a home. Musical mom. My mother, Doris Pederzani Pedrini, was in the high school orchestra in Plymouth, Massachusetts, when this 1936 portrait was taken, writes Lynn Gavani of Plymouth. My sister and I later got to see her perform as first violinist with the Plymouth Philharmonic, and then making do. My mom, Dorothea, used cloth remnants to make our clothes in the Depression, says Gilbert Mathus of Berkeley, Massachusetts. Dad took this picture of her with big brother Everett and me in White Plains, New York. I'll show the pictures again in case anybody missed. Yo back, Mama Ames. Yes, look at this 18-room house. Amazing, isn't it? They are interesting. There's another couple more. Grocery was run by George behind center display and Fleta Taylor behind counter, writes Lizetta Ferguson of Bethany, Illinois. Their son Billy is also behind the counter in this 1943 photo. We rented their farm in Bethany after they left to start this store in Kansas, Illinois. Captain Safety. My wife found this 1946 photo in our attic, says Sewell Scott, Wilmington, Delaware. I'm at far right and was captain of the safety patrol team at number 30 Elementary School in Wilmington. I later retired as staff captain from the Delaware State Police. How neat. Everybody always did look so miserable back then, didn't they? I heard it was because they had, harder lives. They had to work so much harder for their living, to day than we have to today with our modern conveniences and everything. That's like Dave's grandmother. They had a picture of her when she was like 45, and she looked like she was 70 something. And then a picture of her at 94. She looked younger than she did at 45. I am going to YouTube or Utah. Yes, Lark, of course. You know it. And then the comics. Let's see, 144. We'll go till 2 hours. Okay, guys? Hi, Nicole Griffith. Been thinking about you. Oh, look how cute, guys. More Valentines. Here's a thought to remember. We may give without loving, but we cannot love without giving. That's true, too. My Funny Valentine. These cute Valentine greetings are shared by Ardella Score from Minot, North Dakota. These are adorable. Carolyn, are you seeing the old Valentines? Mommy ramblings. Aren't they adorable, guys? They really are. Valentines are still cute today, though. But I'm back, baby. Short memories. Okay. Got about 14 minutes. I'm getting ready for her debut. On thin ice, then and later. On thin ice, then and later. In the late 1920s, when I was in my early teens, I was ice skating on Lake Erie in front of our house. Overnight, a thin coat of ice had formed over some open water covered by a bit of snow. I skated off firm ice and went through the thin ice into the water, coming up under the new ice. Ugh. Fortunately, I broke through and worked my way back on top of thick ice. I skated like mad for shore and, without taking off my skates, clambered up the 100-foot embankment. It was very cold and I was very wet. You're lucky. At the same time, workers were leaving my dad's plant, and one of the foremen, John Bailey, had seen me go through the ice, but hadn't seen me get out. He gathered some men and found some planks, but after trying for half an hour to find me, the men returned to shore and knocked on our door. Dad answered, and when he saw his foreman, he was sure something alarming had happened at the plant. Mr. Bailey said, "John, we have some bad news. Your son skated off the ice and we can't find the body." Dad, relieved that the plant was okay, said, "The body is upstairs in the bathroom." We didn't tell Mother about the accident because we didn't want to upset her. But several months later, at a bridge club gathering, one of the ladies said, "Wasn't your son lucky that he didn't drown when he went through the ice?" This was news to Mother. When she came home, she gave us more than a bit of grief for not telling her. Tammy. Snow traveling in 1960. The snowstorm off Lake Michigan the weatherman had been predicting turned into the biggest storm of 1960 in St. Joseph, Michigan. The schools were closed, and most folks were snowed in on that very cold day. My husband, Robert, a conservation officer, decided to get out his snow traveler. It was an old relic and one of the first snowmobiles made by Polaris. Bob had bought it from a friend as a lark. Hi, Larky, they're saying your name. I wondered if the monstrosity would move. After a bit of work, Bob got the snow traveler running. Purring loudly, it kept moving, and Bob and our neighbor, Dave Hunt, took it to the grocery store 3 blocks away and brought as much milk and bread, as they could carry for the neighborhood. In fact, they went twice. Pictured at left with the snow machine from left, our neighbor Diane Hunt, me, Sandy Vanderroost, Dave Hunt, and David Hunt, partially visible. What could have been a nothing day turned into fun for our street. Bob and that ancient snow traveler were instantly popular. From Char Vanderroost, Allegan, Michigan. And here's a picture. Warm smiles, sheer joy over newly fallen snow, and a snowbank is shown in the faces of my wife-to-be Sonia and her brother Orrin Neerhoff in this picture from 1941 in Bellwood, Pennsylvania, writes Paul Hafer of Middlebury Center. Fortunately, it'd been well over a year since Orrin had given Sonia a haircut, best described as a checkerboard style. Except for that, he took very good care of his little sister. The snowmobile. Isn't that cute? Look at those little cuties. Tall task. We kids were all smiles in this picture, taken in 1952 on the family farm north of Seymour, Wisconsin, writes Tom Schroeder of Shawano. The children stacked up and ready to slide down the barn bank are from bottom, neighbor Dennis Roscom, me, neighbors Don and Judy Abel, and my sister Lois on top. We still see each other often and talk about the great times we had. Isn't that cute? That is super cute. Now they all look so happy. Cold snapped at town. The winter of 1933 to 34 was a tough one in Dansville, New York. November and December were bitterly cold with no snow. In January, it was 0 or below every night. By then, the frost had penetrated to a depth of more than 4 feet, freezing pipes and sewers. The local welder was beyond busy with his portable unit, thawing out water pipes inside and outside houses. Some people would leave a faucet on all night so the pipes wouldn't freeze. But when morning came, their floors were flooded because the frozen sewers were blocked. Ugh. The morning of February 9th, the temperature dropped to 32 below 0, breaking our thermometer. We kids were sent home from school, so we put on our warmest play clothes and sledded down the frozen creek. A couple of weeks later, the fire whistle blew around 2 a.m. from our house. We could see that the burning building was the old opera house, which had been made over into a bowling alley. Nearby fire companies were called in, not for the manpower, but for yards and yards of hoses, since 4 out of 5 hydrants were frozen. When spring finally came, we learned that the frost had killed most of our area's fruit trees. Yes, that was a tough winter. By Harold Gilbert, Dansville, New York. And then our last little memory. In 1944, when I was about 6 years old, our second grade teacher at Satilla School in rural Coffee County, Georgia, had a Valentine's Day party for us. After punch and cookies, Mrs. Belger handed out valentines from a round box covered with crepe paper and trimmed with white doilies and small red hearts. One valentine stood out among the others. On the front was a black and white cow gazing up at the moon with the message, "I'd jump over the moon for you, Valentine." It also had a small red heart with "Be Mine" in the center. I was thrilled because the card was from Jack, the cutest boy in the class. In my mind, the cow became Jack saying to me, "Be mine. I would jump over the moon for you." That was almost like a proposal of marriage, especially since my older cousin, May, explained that the 2 X's and 2 O's next to Jack's name meant kisses and hugs. Oh my, Be still, my happy little heart. That night, while riding with Daddy in his pickup truck, I watched the moon and the stars through the back window. Finally, I asked, if someone wanted to jump over the moon, how high would he have to jump? Daddy seemed to give some serious thought to my question before replying, I don't know how high he'd have to jump, but he'd have to get a mighty fast running start to do it. That was good enough for me. Jack was the fastest runner in our class. Not long after that, Jack's family moved away, and we never saw each other again. But he left me with cherished memories of my happiest Valentine's Day ever, and occasional thoughts of what might have been. From Francis Vickers Wilkes, Douglas, Georgia. That's cute, isn't it? I need you to send me a copy of that woman who looks so happy. It's from my fridge when I'm having a bad day. Okay. Let me show it again. This is NewsTubers and all those people that make such lovely comments and videos everywhere. This is their face. It's great, isn't it? Isn't that represent perfectly their attitudes? What you expect, behind that computer. Oh, this is perfect. Perfect. Make my day. "12 years old today." Who's that? You. Right, Irene? Yeah. Oh, this is great. Gonna save this one, boy. Okay. So if you're not in Patreon, join up if you want to be at Tub Time tonight. Carolyn's reading. She's reading Killer Across the Table. It's really a good book, too. We didn't want her to stop when she did it about a week ago. The chapters, they were really good. Very interesting. I was laying in bed listening. Tonight I'll be laying in that tub. But Carolyn's getting hers all fixed up. She has that beautiful bathroom. No. It's going to be what? Let's see. It'll be sent to us. The link. Wait a minute. Wait now, guys. Go get your link for Patreon. It's in your email. She send it out to all the Patreon. It'll be in your email. I didn't know 9:05 she sent it. So let's do this thing. Why didn't she let me know? Okay, guys, see you there at Tub Time. Tube time, Tub Time. Love you guys. Thanks for coming. Bye. It was fun. Bye, NewsTubers.